Good morning. We are here again with WordCamp Orange County 2016. My name is Say Reed, and I am here with Brianna Privett of Techno Siren. Hello, Brianna.
Hello, Say.
Tell me a little bit about what I like to call your WordPress witnessing story, aka how you came to WordPress, how you found WordPress, or how WordPress found you.
It might have actually been the first legitimately professional thing I did as a small business owner when I was in my early 20s. I dedicated 6 months of research and development to finding the best open source content management software I could find back in 2004. That I could easily theme and write plugins for, because I was writing a lot of custom content management systems and I was getting really tired of it. And I found WordPress, and in January of 2005 I launched my first client's WordPress-based site, and it's rolled on from there.
Awesome. Can you hear us on the microphone? Sorry, Facebook Live. We just need to make sure that we can hear into that microphone also. So 2005, geez, that was very much the beginning parts of the WordPress. It has changed a lot. When did you first get into the WordPress community? What was your entrevue into that?
I got tickets to the very first WordCamp ever and ended up not going because I had a conference in San Francisco like 2 months later, and I knew I was going to be eloping then, and I really regret it. The marriage didn't last, but I'm still working with WordPress, so I wish I could kind of roll back time and like let myself know what my priorities would end up being.
Unfortunately, we do not have that prescience or that ability. So you 2000 when that was your first potential WordPress community thing. So what ended up happening?
Right. What ended up happening was that I was overwhelmed running a WordPress agency kind of by myself in a room for the next few years. And it was only when I took a step back, when I had kids and sold my agency, that you encouraged me, encouraged me to go to a WordCamp and kind of get out there and get out of babyhead and maybe into community land, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Aww. It's been wonderful.
I'm bringing people to the press, one person at a time. So, all right. So you experienced a lot of isolated development, but you were still connecting with the software and obviously exploring. So where did you get your knowledge of what was happening in WordPress? If you weren't, coming to WordCamps and finding out what was available from the community, where were you learning from, or where were you like learning about the updates and whatnot from?
Well, I was active as a theme reviewer in that period of time. So I was connecting with other WordPress devs on mailing lists and a little bit in the support forums. So like a lot of familiar names that I could finally put to faces when I started going to WordCamps. And I found, I don't like pointing this out, but as a woman, I had a whole IT history before I started with WordPress, and it really was a leap of faith for me to start pushing code publicly and start releasing public plugins and themes publicly, and like participating as a developer, not just as a business person or a social media person, but actually letting people know, hey, this is my code, this is what I do. I had to get brave to do that.
Because of your experience as a woman in the IT field?
Yes, absolutely.
Because do you find, on that note, that the WordPress community is different than the rest of the IT community in terms of how it regards or welcomes women as part of that structure?
10,000%. Like, it's entirely different. Before I did other open source projects, like open source was the thing to me, and like part of my R&D when I was looking for a new content management system was definitely I wanted something open source, and I wanted to be part of that community. And I think the struggle was that I felt I had to be more perfect than other devs before I could be public. You know what I mean? So I started with bug fixes. I started with, helping instead of advancing. But yeah, WordPress is way more welcoming. I've met more female developers at at WordCamps than I had in 20 years of being a female developer before that. So,
do you think it impacts the culture of WordPress? Is that part of why it's, you know, I've been interviewing people this weekend, everyone's talking about how welcoming the community is, and do you think that's part of because there are more women in it, or possibly because the type of software that it is what do you think is the difference between the WordPress community and the general IT community in your experience?
I think that whatever you want to say about having open source software that has a parent company attached, they have made a huge investment in the community, and it's not a requirement to be a developer to go to WordCamp. WordCamp is literally for everybody. Anybody who's interested in WordPress, they can come. And what I love, and my favorite thing, is when I give a talk and I talk to women afterwards, and they're like, and I see myself, they're like, I'm in my room, I'm doing this thing by myself, and I come here and I feel like, hey, I know this, I can do this. And I think it's bringing existing women developers out of the woodwork, and I think it's making women who like to dabble realize that coding is not for men, it's for anybody. Anybody who's passionate or curious, they can do it. It's not, you know, it's not this esoteric, mysterious, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's elite. It's not unattainable, you know?
Segregated?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not segregated.
Yeah. So what are you, whether it's code or community or something that you're working on, what are you most excited about in the WordPress sphere coming up in the next year?
I am excited to really buckle down and do more with the REST API, because part of my struggle having clients and working with clients is usability and making everything usable for them, and understanding the needs of our different users, the people who are visiting our websites, the people who are managing their own WordPress-based sites based on software we've written for it. So I want to do more with front-end editors, and making it a lot easier for removing layers of abstraction from, you know, the admin, so that when people want to edit their website, they're editing their website. They're not drilling down to the customizer and then trying to figure out where all the, you know, it's like point and click, which is hilarious, because this is a discussion that's been kind of ongoing in the web world for at least 25 years.
But it seems almost attainable now, especially
really
within
does.
WordPress.
It really does. And, you know, there's a lot of things that we used to talk about back then that technology has really made easy now. And so, you know, of course, my other passion is mobile development. Websites you can touch. I love that.
Touching. Yeah. She loves touching websites, just so you know.
As an artist, when you work with things that are intangible, I think there's a little dissatisfaction there. So mobile devices have really made websites tangible in a way that I find, you know, exciting.
Yeah, because you literally can touch them, you can move things around and experience the site in a way that you're not just intellectualizing it or having a removed thing that you're removed from.
Yes, exactly.
And you feel that the REST API is going to change and shift that around?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we're taking the data out of the walled garden, basically. So, yeah.
Well, that'll be fun. I can't wait to share our garden with everybody and see all the beautiful things that we all grow. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And we will talk to you again with our next victim.